Honestly, this show felt like, originally, the idea, when I first heard of it, it felt like a cash grab idea. It felt like a stupid, silly cash grab idea, because that's just how so many of these shows began, as just silly, stupid cash grab ideas. I could rant, and I probably should one day make another rant files. It's been a long time since I've done a rant files. I've just been sprinkling my rants into my other videos, just putting them there instead. About how Marvel, Star Wars, mainly Disney Plus doing this, but other streaming services are also doing this. They're just picking IPs and they're throwing TV shows together, just 8-episode TV shows. They're basically one long movie with tons of fluff and bloat and things that you would normally cut out of a concise movie. You get to keep in and make an 8-hour movie instead of just releasing a movie in theaters. It's a cash grab idea. And you make it exclusive onto your service. You might even make it a canon to your overarching series of shows and movies, and go like, you can't have that. You gotta get that fear of missing out, psychologically putting that into the minds of the viewers, so that the viewers pay to watch our services so that they could watch this, so they don't miss out on information for the next film that we put into theaters that use stories from this into the next. It's just like, I don't like that. I'm sorry. I despise concepts like that. It's what's been happening with Marvel lately. I need to catch up on some of my Marvel reviews. I did part of Phase 1, and then I just stopped. I should come back and do just random, sporadic Marvel movie video reviews and things like that. I should come back and start talking about some of them. I should talk about the new Marvel Captain America movie. I should talk about the Deadpool movies, and I like those. I should talk about Guardians 3. I should talk about a lot of them, so I should probably make a series of those, or just whenever I feel like it. That's just how this channel is. I do whatever I feel like, whenever I feel like doing it. And right now I feel like talking about the Penguin for a little bit, if I can keep myself on topic from not ranting about other things. But this is kind of on topic. This is just one of those types of things where they just take a concept that was introduced in a movie, or maybe in a comics, if it's Marvel Comics or Star Wars, with the books of the comics and all these other merchandise and memorabilia and all that stuff. And they decide, you know what, let's make a TV show off of this. Let's just make a TV show off of this. Let's make a TV show and make it canon to the movies. I don't mind TV shows. I really don't. But I do mind when you make them canon to movies. I feel like theatrical film canon should be kept separate from TV show canon. I feel like TV shows should be canon to themselves, so that you could tell your own story there, unrestricted by film canonicity and all of that other crap besides, and have to piss off your audience by saying, oh, here's the sequel to the Batman, but it has stuff from the Penguin in there, so you gotta watch that too, man. And it's like, okay, if I do, then you better release it on hard copy, or have it available somewhere in a easier to access way. Put it on cable as well, or something. Put it where the majority of your audience would have access to it. The majority of people don't have HBO Max. The majority of your audience do not have every streaming service under the sun. Millions probably do, but you're also going to miss out on other millions of audiences who watched the first Batman movie, who are going to ignore this TV series and go right into the Batman 2. So if you have anything that's strictly in the Penguin that's very big, very important, and you put that into Batman 2, I'm probably going to be very upset with you. Even if I really like this show. And I do. I like the Penguin. I do. I've never seen The Sopranos. I've seen the memes. But I love this show. I've seen the Penguin from the animated series. I've seen the Penguin from the Arkham games. I've seen the Penguin in some comics that I've looked up, just so I could look up the story and say, oh yeah, I know about that story now. I've seen many versions of the Penguin, but this version of the Penguin is probably the most unique version of the Penguin that I've seen. And I really like this guy. This guy is awesome. This is played by Colin Farrell in heavy makeup, almost to the point where I question why they even cast Colin Farrell. Do I think this is incredible makeup? Yes. Do I think this is incredible skill and talent in the makeup department to make such a transformative appearance and transformation from one actor to look completely like somebody else? Yes, I think that's incredible talent, incredible skill. At the same time, I wonder if there's a person who looks like this guy in real life that you couldn't have given this part to instead. You know, you could have actually cast somebody who looks like this instead of making an actor, Colin Farrell, look like this guy. You could have just cast the guy who looks like him. Maybe add some latex to show some of those scars there, but there's probably somebody out there who looks like this guy out there. It looks like you're trying to make him look like somebody that you know. Kind of like the Tony Soprano, maybe. You're probably trying to make a Tony Soprano-looking guy, but you made him a little bit disfigured. So maybe you could probably find somebody who looks like this guy. You probably could have, but that's a little bit of a gripe there. I loved the makeup department. I love the makeup department in these movies. I love practical effects. I love all the skill and all this stuff. But I want you to use this skill. I want you to use your latex skills and all this other makeup department's skill, talent, and all that stuff. Make horror movies. Make monsters. Transform actors into these cool-looking monsters. Transform an actor into something completely alien. If you can do this and make somebody look completely like somebody else using practical effects, you could do that with monsters instead of using CG. You could do that. I want to see you do that, man. I got full confidence in you. I do think you got that in you. Either way, the makeup aside, casting choices aside, I really like Colin Farrell in this role, by the way. I really do. He's got a good accent, especially in the movie. It's kind of slipping in the TV show because you can tell it's a lower budget. So Colin Farrell's probably not giving it his A game here. He's not trying to keep that accent on at all times. So his actual Colin Farrell voice is spilling into his dialogue, and you could hear that. But other than that, it's a solid film. I really enjoyed it. I'm saying it's a film because it is. This is an 8-hour film. There's about 6 to 8 episodes. I think it's 8 episodes. It might even be 6. It's 2 discs. Yeah, I think it might just be 8 to 6 episodes. Not even 10. Isn't that a disgusting thing that you don't even get 10 episodes anymore? Remember when TV shows used to have 20 to 26 episodes? And they were all hour-long episodes. Remember that? I want that to come back. I don't want 8-episode movies. Give me 8 episodes of unique stories instead of an 8-episode movie. If you want to give me a Penguin movie, fine. Go ahead. There's a lot of stuff in here I would have cut out from a 2.5-hour movie. But this makes a very good 2.5-hour movie. It's a very excellent story. It's a very excellent character study of the Penguin character, and especially this other guy. I keep forgetting the name of this kid here. He's a main character in the story. This is the Penguin's his mom, and this is the daughter of Carmine Falcone. And I liked the exploration of all these characters. It's not just about the Penguin. It's about his mom. It's about this guy whose name I keep forgetting. Vic. It's about Vic. Victor. I think Victor Sullivan. Or is Victor Sullivan somebody else? Is Victor Sullivan from Uncharted? Vic. I'm just going to call him Vic because I can't remember his last name. And it's Vic, and then Falcone. I just call her Falcone, the Falcone daughter, the other Falcone daughter, one of the many. Carmine's been busy, he's been pretty busy. We can't keep track of all of them. The opening episode has the Penguin shooting and killing Carmine's eldest son, who would have been the guy to take over the Falcone crime family. And this entire series is about the Penguin, with the help of his protege Vic, who is a survivor living in the same slums that the Penguin grew up in. And it's about both of them trying to rise through the mafia crime lords and get the Falcones and the Maronis to fight each other. And Penguin manages to take both of the major crime families out. It's kind of weird that the Batman doesn't show up, though. It's kind of weird. Maybe the Reeves' Batman 2 is going to explain why Batman didn't show up in this show. If you're going to reference the Penguin series in your sequel movie, the only way I would reference it is to explain why Batman wasn't in it. That's the only thing you needed to do. Just reference why Batman wasn't in this. That's all you gotta do, and I'd be happy with it. Because that's the only question I had. There's a lot of things that are happening in this series that the Batman would arguably come running to fight, to fend off, to put a stop to all the crazy collateral damage. Lots of buildings get blown up, lots of people die, tons of gang warfare and gang violence. A lot of GTA type of storytelling, honestly. And maybe GTA storytelling took its inspiration from shows like The Sopranos. The Sopranos is pretty old show. I really need to watch The Sopranos. Either way, there's a lot of stuff going on in this show that I can really appreciate. It's a very psychological character study of a character like the Penguin. And even though the Penguin is the protagonist, he is not the good guy. The nicest character in this TV series is Vic. Vic, the second in command, the Penguin's protege. And spoilers, but in the very end of the final episode, the Penguin kills Vic. He strangles Vic, and the Penguin ends up saying that he cannot have weaknesses anymore. He cannot have anybody that could be used against him like that anymore. He cannot allow his enemies to ever get a hold of Vic, so the only way that he can protect himself from Vic being his weakness is to take Vic out himself. And the Penguin's actually tearing up during this. He's actually pretty hurt by doing this, but he feels like doing this is necessary to make sure that he has no ties. And that's something that has been referenced multiple times in this TV series, is that nobody even knew Penguin had a mother, that his mother was still alive. And everybody thought that the Penguin had no emotional ties to anybody. He had no friends, he had no family members. Nobody could use anything against the Penguin to, like, hold hostage over him. Nobody could take any power over him by taking capture of people, until Vic happened. And when Vic happened, Penguin realized how vulnerable he had become, because if anybody took hold of Vic, the Penguin might not have just let them kill him. He might have actually been held as an actual somebody would have to negotiate to save the life of somebody like Vic. Because if he allowed himself to go down that road, that probably would have eventually happened. And he foresaw that, and he realized, I can't let that happen. I gotta take him out now before this becomes too much of an emotional attachment. And it's already an emotional attachment. He already considers him like family, but we've already seen in the earlier episodes what he actually did to his family. Even though his other brothers weren't exactly nice to him, they were still his brothers, and it was a very terrible thing that he did. And we're not justifying the Penguin's characters, but we can now understand them. And that's the thing. That's the great, brilliant way of storytelling, is that you can tell stories of terrible people and make them understandable. You can have empathy for the villain and still realize that he's the villain, and still realize this is a bad dude. We can understand him. We can empathize with his decisions, but we still realize he's a bad dude. The Penguin is a bad dude. Is he as bad as Carmine Falcone? We don't know yet. Is he as bad as Salvatore Maroni? Worse, arguably. But he's just a rising crime lord in the mafia scheme, and he takes over all of the mafias at the end of it. So I'm very curious to see where they take this character. If Reeves gets to make a Batman 2, I'd like to see if he comes back or not. I'd actually honestly like to see Batman and the Penguin go head to head in the sequel, because, well, he does need to be taken out. He does need to be put down. He does need to, but it's just interesting how big the world is expanding. Even though we kind of are in this James Gunn expanded universe, we're doing the James Gunn universe. He just released Superman, and he's got this whole other film universe he's going to do, maybe some TV shows as well for HBO Max, and this is being done separately. And this was the idea was formulated before the James Gunn universe was doing its thing. So I have no idea where they're going to take this character. I have no idea where they're going to take this series. Do not make a Penguin season 2. Do not. If you're going to do a season 2, maybe do a Catwoman season 2 and continue the story there. Maybe continue Catwoman and bring her back for that, because they are sisters, half-sisters, or something like that, or because they both share Carmine Falcone as a father. So maybe we could do something like that as a sort of extended universe TV series. If you want to do that, I'd be okay with that, so long as you continue to have hard copies and not keep things strictly on your streaming service. I'm okay with that, because physical copies are fantastic. You could put exclusive content on your physical copies. Look at this. I doubt most of this is going to be on HBO Max. I doubt most of this that you can watch and look at all the commentaries and the interviews and all this other crap about the behind the scenes and the footage and all that stuff. That's what we collect these physical copies for, as well as just to have this so that we don't have to go searching for a cable TV airing or go see if it's on Tubi or HBO Max or anywhere else. We don't need to be limited by those types of things. When we have this, we have control. We have the power to watch it whenever we want, so long as we have electricity and something to play it on. I will always support physical media, and I would say, yeah, the Penguin is definitely worth a look.